Back on SportsLine, besides the huge storyline of the Titans reporting for training camp and getting on the practice field over the weekend, so many of the college teams in the area and around the country reporting, getting on the practice field. Vanderbilt, the latest to do so today. Another huge story came your way on Friday when the Predators finally agreed to terms with restricted free agent Ryan Johansen. 8 years, $64 million to keep him as their top-line center. It caps off a very, very busy summer for the Preds. Short summer, by the way, coming off of the Stanley Cup final appearance against the Penguins, keeping a bunch of their restricted free agents, going out and getting a guy like Scott Hartnell, bringing him back to Nashville, taking Nick Bonino in free agency from the Penguins. But Johansen was kind of the prize piece because he's a long-term guy. The Preds have so long looked for that top-line center. They got him when they traded for him a year and a half ago, and to hold on to him long-term, very big deal. They announced the deal on Friday. Both general manager David Poile and Ryan Johansen were there. After it was all over, I got a chance to go one-on-one with David Poile to talk about this summer and the position the Preds are in now. Well, David Poile, you've looked for a long time for your top-line center. You lock up Ryan Johansen for 8 years, $64 million. It seems like this was a pretty easy decision.
Well, it was in the fact that, as you said, I've been looking for #1 center for so long. It was hard to get him. We paid a big price to get him, and I was going to do everything I could not to lose him. Ryan's gotten better and better each year in the NHL, and I think our fans and his teammates really saw that, especially this year in the playoffs, where he was, dominant against some of the best players in the league. I mean, going up against Jonathan Toews in Chicago, Anaheim against Getzlaf and Kessler, those are tough matchups, and he more than held his own. So we're certainly looking for the growth. He's turning 25 years old on Monday, but we think the best years are ahead of him, and we think he's clearly going to be a guy that leads us to the promised land, if you will.
He seemed to take his game to the next level last season, but that top line as a whole, I know you don't necessarily throw the lines out there, but to have Forsberg, Arvidsson, and now Johansen locked up long term, what does that mean? Well,
it's huge. I mean, if you look back just a couple of years ago, we were looking for offense. Now you've got Forsberg with 2 30-goal seasons. You've got Arvi just starting his career basically with 31 goals last year, and you got Johansen, who's our leading point getter and a guy that once scored 30 goals. So this arguably could be one of the best lines in the National Hockey League. So that's a good starting point for your offense.
It's been a condensed summer when you play all the way to Game 6 of the Stanley Cup final. But when you think about it now, Scott Hartnell comes back. You sign Nick Bonino in free agency. All of the restricted free agents that you've lined up over the last few weeks. Has it gone about as well as it could go in terms of David Poile's plan?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, we wanted to re-sign all of our players, and we accomplished that now with having Ryan sign. We needed to and wanted to strengthen our forward position, and we got Nick Bonino, and I think that's a huge, signing for us to play behind, Ryan probably next year, and a guy that can, jump up in the power play, kill penalties, and do different things. I think it's a really good add to our team. Hartnell was a guy that was always a top player. We really think that he might be a guy that can give us some goals too, a guy that can play maybe on the power play in front of the net, a little net front presence because he's got great courage. And he's also a guy that has some success playing with Ryan Johansen. So I think, we've added a couple new weapons, and I don't want to start the season tomorrow. I want to have a little bit of a break now, but I think we're in pretty good shape.
There's only $1 million question remaining now, and that's your captain. What's the latest on Mike Fisher in terms of his decision?
We're going to have a discussion next week, so I think we're getting close to hearing what he wants to do. He's been on vacation, I believe, for the last couple of weeks, and we'll talk this week. And I don't think it'll be much longer. We'll know the answer. You mentioned that you're ready for a break. Do you finally get one now? Are the bags packed? Can you get out the door? Ready to go away for a little bit. I think it's be good to put the cell phone down for a couple of days. I think that'll be a good and very healthy thing for me to do. Well, David, you've earned it. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Certainly a well-earned break for David Poile. Only Mike Fisher's decision remains for this Predators team, which is going to be a favorite to win a division, to win a Western Conference, and to get back to the Stanley Cup final again next year. Switching gears quickly now, Josef Newgarden won his second straight race. Toronto 2 weeks ago. Yesterday at Mid-Ohio, he now leads the IndyCar Point Series. We got a chance to talk to him last night. Someone call the fire department because our guy Josef Newgarden is on fire. Back-to-back wins. Josef, you could probably get used to these trips to victory lane, couldn't you?
Hey, it's always a good thing. Whenever you got to do media, you get to talk to the local people from Nashville. It's my hometown, obviously, so I love it. It's great that you guys tune in a little bit, so thanks for all the support. And yeah, we had a good day in Ohio today.
Absolutely. And today you performed a textbook pass on your teammate Will Power to take the lead early on in the race. One commentator called it the best pass he'd ever seen at Mid-Ohio. Take us through that key moment.
Well, you know, it was certainly the key for us because, you know, we were sitting in second place. We had to get by our teammate Will, and, you know, we had a couple different ways we could do that. You could either just pass him straight up on the racetrack if you can somehow make that happen, or you can try and pass him, jumping him in the pits. You know, pit earlier than him, have faster outlaps, and then just cycle in front of him. But for me, I felt like there was an opportunity to pass him on track, so I set him up at a 2. And I had a pretty good crossover move in turn 4. And then the real key that made that work was that he gave me a lot of racing room. He's my teammate, Will Power, and he gave me tons of room. So fortunately, we got through that corner just fine. And once we were in front, it actually made it a lot easier. My car worked a lot better in clean air, and it's pretty easy sailing for the rest of the day.
Yeah, you pretty much cruised from there, picking up your 3rd win of the season, matching your career total through your first 5 seasons in IndyCar. What's been the big difference this year as you joined Team Penske?
Well, Team Penske, they're an amazing group. You know, I don't think I could say enough about them. They're one of the best teams in sports. You know, and their run in IndyCar, specifically in motorsports, has been unbelievable. This is their 51st season. They just celebrated their 50th year last year, and you know, no one's won more Indy 500s than Team Penske. And you look at the championships that they won, you look at the platforms that they race in across the board, sports cars, NASCAR. They're an unbelievable group, big powerhouse. So you know, they really give you the tools to make it happen. If you got the will and you got the ability, then you're not going to be missing anything on the team side. They make sure to leave no stone unturned. So it's fun to be a part of them, you know, and work for the captain, Roger Penske, and I'm having a blast, man, living the dream.
And now you stand as the points leader. Do you allow yourself to look at that championship with just 4 races to go?
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible not to, right? You say don't think about pink elephants, and what pops in your mind? Pink elephants. So you're gonna start thinking about championships if you get in the lead. But you know, for us, it's about just executing like we did today, not having any problems. You know, just trying to maximize our performance. And if we can stay out of trouble, I think we're going to have the speed and the ability to win the championship. The guy that's most consistent for the last 4 races is going to be the champion. So that's kind of our philosophy. We just got to be consistent, finishing strong in points every weekend, and you know, that should get the job done, in my opinion, at the end of the day.
Well, Joseph, Tennessee is cheering you on. Congratulations again, my friend.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.